Bourne.
Hey, Karen Beatty.
We need a promo. Like where we talk about what we do on our podcast.
On our sugar-coated murder podcast? Like how we love to bake and talk about murder?
That's what we need to talk about.
There you go.
I think we've talked about it. Y'all find us on all your favorite listening apps.
Stay sweet.
And don't murder.
Because if you kill people,
we will talk about you.
I am Sailor Moon, and now, in the name of the moon, I'll punish you.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Talking SMAC, where we talk superheroes, movies, animation, comics, and much, much more. I am your host, Josh Scar, and joining me, as typical recently, is someone who's back from their extended hiatus where they took a trip overseas. I am joined by Matt. How you doing, Matt?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. We are also joined by someone who is returning from an extended hiatus. Becky, how you doing?
Me. I'm here to yap.
And as always, I am joined by the other co-host of the podcast, also back from an extended abroad trip, Alex. Alex, how you doing?
I have climbed so many mountains. I have gone seeking for those who would give me guidance. I have been training. I've been chasing chickens, lifting logs, and I am prepared for the SMACdown. As you can see underneath this rippling layer, underneath this fur is a rippling layer of muscle as I have prepared, because there's only one way to take down Matt, and it is through extensive knowledge of Star Trek. Are you ready for this, Matt?
Are we fighting about Star Trek today?
We did not actually get any Star Trek submissions for Talking SMACdowns, but we do have over 30 submissions, so we're going to get into it. I have the wheel of names up here with all of our submissions, and I'm going to get rolling. Clicking the button. Here we go. First SMACdown going. First one is submitted by Juan Cardenas. It is the Muppets versus the Looney Tunes. Who wins, or do they become friends?
I mean, it's not the Looney Tunes. I was going to say it's the Muppets. For some reason, I mixed it up. But it's the Muppets, right? The Muppets are better in every way.
If we're talking overall quality of life, yes, the Muppets, I think. But in a fight to incapacitation in a giant warehouse, do the Muppets win, or do they become friends with the Looney Tunes? I think friendship is the only way to go with this one.
It depends, right? Like, sometimes a Looney Tune will give you a face full of buckshot.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
But they all seem to be fairly indestructible.
But let's not forget here that one of the Looney Tunes is Foghorn Leghorn, and Foghorn Leghorn, he comes in with that paddle and is just going to start whooping ass to put everybody in line. So I really think the only suitable answer is they're going to be friends, because after Foghorn's done with them, they're all going to be smarting, they're going to be rubbing their butts, and they're going to be sitting in corners.
And Gonzo will love it because he loves chickens.
Exactly.
Why are they fighting and not playing basketball?
Do the Muppets play basketball?
Well, Michael Jordan's not there.
LeBron James and Michael Jordan aren't there.
Oh, the Muppets can ball, man. Don't think they don't. Don't think that they're not going to shoot some 3-pointers back there.
I can see the Swedish Chef doing pretty well.
They're friends with Jason Segel. That guy balls.
That's fair. All right, so what are we voting here? Who wins or become friends? I think Alex and I are both on the side of becoming friends.
I think they start an intramural basketball team.
So they become friends.
Yep.
Yeah, I always ride for friends. All
right, Juan, thanks so much. We're moving along. Like I said, there's lots of them. We're gonna keep going here. Oh, Alex, I'm gonna let you read this one.
I'm taking a deep breath. I'm picturing a hot tub, something about a hot tub, and I see a tall, muscular man reloading his arms, a sword next to him, and in walks, what is that? A shiny Beskar helmet? Is it The Witcher versus the Mandalorian? I think so.
As submitted by Kieran Gooding, yes. This is they become friends. It's grouchy daddy taking care of a tiny kid. Like they're gonna bond over how annoying their little children are.
I don't know. I think The Witcher, aka Geralt of Rivia, he's kind of a bastard,
But this is the Henry Cavill one, so he starts getting a little soft-hearted through season 2, or by the end of season 1 even. I think, again, you have the wandering nomad who's just kind of solving the world's problems for money. He ends up adopting, for lack of a better word, adopts a child, and in this case, both of them do that sort of thing, and they love their kids. So I think that is their bonding point where they realize like, oh, hey, we have similar jobs and we love our adoptive children.
The Mandalorian has like lasers and space missiles.
Yeah, that was going to be my thing is pretty sure the space beats medieval times.
Okay. First of all, let's stop that. I think in this case, yes. You can't just make a blanket
That's
statement.
exactly
like
what I can do.
So is it 2 votes to the Mandalorian
Yeah, I
versus
think
2 votes
Mandalorian
for
wins.
Friends?
Yeah, but I see. I think they would most likely be friends in the terms of, so they're going to go into this battle. They're in the warehouse. The Mando's probably going to win. He's got the jetpack. He's got the little stingy needle slings. The Witcher is going to fight his damnedest, but is going to end up knocked out in some manner. And we know that he has his regen factor. So I think Mando takes it, but then realizes he's still alive when they're back in here a week later. And they're like, screw it, let's just be friends.
Here's a question. Why are they back there a week later? Who is doing this to them?
Yeah,
The
Alex, that's a new
gods hate
stipulation
them.
that we have not added to the Talking SmackDowns. If this helps at all, if we want to consider it 2-2, the tiebreaker is the fan vote. The fan vote says the Mandalorian wins 60%, Witcher gets 20%, and they'd be friends 20%.
I can't deny that. That's a good
All right.
result.
Here's the thing. I'm always right.
It's hard to argue with
Well,
that.
Matt, since you're always right, you get to read off the next fight. Let's get moving.
The Bad Batch versus the Penguins of Madagascar from our pal Drew Robertson.
I'm voting the Penguins of Madagascar. I will give my reasons shortly, but I would like to hear your guys' considerations.
I vote Penguins of Madagascar.
I have only seen... I've never watched Madagascar. I'm an adult with a child that's too young to watch movies yet.
Well, the Penguins of Madagascar TV series is fantastic. I would
It is
strongly
the best.
recommend it. It's mindless fun.
I have seen the episodes of Clone Wars where the Bad Batch appears, and that's it. My knee-jerk take is everyone in this fight's a big nerd. But also, the Bad Batch are like soldiers, right? And I think one of them has like a grenade launcher or something. I think one of them might be a child. I'm not sure. Also, so I think
Here's a child.
I
yes.
think it's probably them if we're really going for it. These guys are penguins.
But they're military grade penguins because you have Skipper, who is their leader. He's got a sound tactical mind. You've got Kowalski, who is their relative genius. He's the guy that makes the plans. And then you've got Rico, who is the wild card. He literally just hacks up whatever they need as a Deus Ex Machina. They need a bomb, he'll hack it up. They need a firework, he'll hack it up. They need a gun, he'll probably hack it up. And then they have, I'm forgetting Private. That's his name. Private is the new one. He's basically useless, but he is also cute, and he is usually the distraction. I have seen all of the Bad Batch. They are typically reactionary, which means they get incapacitated, then they wake up and they figure out a way to win. With the rules that we have for Talking SmackDowns, the Penguins knock them out, and the Bad Batch doesn't get a chance to retaliate because that's not the rules.
What happens a week later?
The Bad Batch probably wins.
A week later, these little penguins that are supposed to be in Antarctica that somehow ended up in Madagascar and ended up on airplanes, ended up training themselves like elite soldiers. They are more of a unified, cohesive fighting group than the Bad Batch are.
Can I ask a question? Okay, so the Penguins are strategic geniuses,
Yes.
right? Sure. I'll take that as read. But like, they're strategic geniuses for penguins. What does that even mean, right? Like, what concept have penguins of warfare?
These penguins have very good concepts of warfare. The Penguins of Madagascar movie alone proves a lot of it. They take out their own little mini CIA or MI6 version of animals that have their own secret organization voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch, which that movie is amazing on its own. There's an amazing running gag where John Malkovich plays the villain, and he names his entire crew like seemingly innocuous names, but he'll start shouting commands or something will happen, and he'll be like, Charlize, they're on the roof. And it's just an amazing running gag that I know Rebecca will absolutely love if she ever looks it up because she loves puns like that.
I've seen that movie, and that is my favorite part.
That is like one of the most well-written jokes in
It is
the
so
last
well
20
done.
years.
It's so smooth. It just keeps going. And like it's unexpected and expected at the same time.
My limited understanding of the concepts here, taken as granted, I got to give it to the Bad Batch just because again they are soldiers, they're fighting, their little nerd is like
Kowalski can do that too.
You shoot your grenade launcher or whatever. But he's a penguin. He doesn't have fingers. And the child is like, I'll distract him with cuteness. And then I understand there's another penguin that's a
private
cute or whatever.
yes. But that's their advantage is the fact that they're penguins and everyone's like, oh, what is this thing? Why are they here? And then they judo chop them and they incapacitate them.
If there's
and they
one
win.
thing the last 40 or 50 years of climate change has taught us, it's that man is extremely fucking good at killing penguins.
We've all seen that episode of Futurama. The penguins take over the guns at the end.
So I think I won't keep arguing the point. I've made my case. I'm going the Bad Batch.
My vote is Penguins of Madagascar because one, they're all friends, even though they pretend like they're not. They're a cohesive family group, so they extra work together. Two, I think I'd rather be judo chopped by a human hand than a giant, heavy penguin fin.
Well, they're normal sized penguins.
Yeah. And have you touched a penguin? They're disgusting.
No, I haven't.
I don't want a penguin slapping me on the neck. That's crazy. That would hurt so bad.
The only point I will concede to you, Matt, is that in Star Wars, they kill any animal that cannot speak
Oh, no.
in a language that they understand.
Oh, no. Do they understand New York?
Well, the penguins still don't speak English. They understand other animals and themselves, but humans
the
don't
Madagascar
understand.
lore is deep.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
This movie stars Ben Stiller, right?
Ben Stiller's not in the Penguins of Madagascar show, but yes, the Madagascar movies do have Ben Stiller. But Alex, you are the deciding vote. Do we go to the fan vote or do
no.
the Penguins take it?
It's 3-1.
Okay.
We know the Penguins win.
Technically 3-2 because the fan vote goes with Matt.
Well, it's 3-2, and as co-host,
That is always right. It's really infuriating.
Yeah, we're moving on. Time to keep going. We got plenty more to get through. Spinning the wheel. Oh, this is one that maybe Matt will recuse himself from. Suggested by Zeke Campbell. This is a one-on-one football drill. This is one where they cannot end up just being friends because it's a football drill. You've got the defensive player, Bobby Boucher, versus the offensive player, Forrest Gump. Who wins in the one-on-one tackle drills? So the idea is Forrest Gump has to make Bobby miss a tackle or Bobby has to tackle Forrest. Who wins? Alex, I'll defer to you first.
I'm gonna go with Bobby because when he gets mad, when his mama shows up that sheet where he all peed all over it, and Forrest starts trying to talk about important things like shrimp crawfish, he's just gonna confuse Bobby, and Bobby's just gonna blow past him.
Rebecca, do you have any considerations for this one?
That's my argument exactly. Bobby Boucher definitely wins. That guy is full of fury, and he will stop at nothing to get that tackle.
Matt, do you have any considerations for this one?
My only point of order is I think that they can be friends only in the sense that I'm sure lots of football players who play on
that's
opposing
not the
teams
point
are
of
friends.
this specific suggestion, though. Like, yes, they would probably very much be friends. They're both Southern Alabama
Yeah,
boys.
but I'm a
or
little stinker,
Alabama,
Josh.
Louisiana.
Yeah, but I'm a little stinker.
All right, plucky duck.
I think it's Bobby only because that's what his movie's about, right?
Yeah, and
that he's really good at football.
It's a clean sweep. Fan vote has Bobby at 72%.
Ooh.
And I think Bobby takes it as well because Forrest Gump has no juke moves. He's just a fast guy, and in a one-on-one drill, he's not going to be able to just shake Bobby in a straight sprint.
This is like Sports
Center.
Center.
Good.
Dun-dun-dun.
All right, Rebecca, you get to read off this next one.
All right, let's see.
Wheel of Names, turn. Ooh.
Okay, this one's intense. It's a super spy fight. James Bond, Daniel Craig specifically, versus Jason Bourne, versus Ethan Hunt, versus Napoleon Solo, Henry Cavill, and the Henry Cavill man from Uncle. Okay, I'm unaware of this last one.
Henry Cavill's version of Napoleon Solo from from Uncle.
I don't think I've seen that.
Submitted by Byron Davis. I like this one a lot because this one takes the idea of who's a killer, which is all of them.
Yeah, they're all killers.
Willing and ready to kill. And then it becomes who is the most notorious and better killer. I think it's the Daniel Craig James Bond. He is just, he won't even take a second to stop and talk. He will just go ahead and kill someone.
I don't know. There are so many, because I was like, yeah, James Bond. Daniel Craig's version is absolutely like ruthless. I wasn't even really.
He's not relying on gadgets. So in our scenario, like let's say they don't get their gadgets, maybe they get one gun, and once the clip's empty, the gun can become a weapon. But
Ethan Hunt, as I assume, is played by Tom Cruise.
Yes.
That's who that is, right? As we've seen from these many, many Mission Impossible movies, is completely unafraid of death.
Right.
Because Tom Cruise will jump off a mountain without a parachute or anything to get his shot.
True.
I think when it comes to pure fighting skills, you're going to have to go with Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig's James Bond starts off with his first kill and, well, his second kill because he got his 00 status and being sent in to take out that other guy. And as he says, it gets easier every time.
Okay,
and
nerd.
then the second movie,
Matt,
I will never forget.
The same thing.
I will never forget in Quantum of Solace when his friend who'd got him out of trouble in the first movie ended up being shot. He just stuffed him in a trunk and then dumped him in a dumpster and let them know to his family to come pick him up. And that's somebody who's his good friend. What's he going to do with rogue agent Jason Bourne? There's too much quick. There's not enough shaky cam in this warehouse to make that fight look good. Jason Bourne's going down. When it comes to Napoleon Solo, unfortunately, he's already retired to try to become either some kind of like Winter Hunter or some kind of Warhammer pilot. I think he takes him down easily. The only real one that I think he has trouble with is Ethan Hunt. Now, as this is a 4-on-1, not a group dynamic, bring your entire team, including Scotty from Star Trek dynamic, I think Daniel Craig just ends up just snapping some necks and is standing victorious, having hardly broken a sweat.
I think I think it'd be a pretty good fight between all of them, but I do think James Bond stands triumphant at the end of this. So locking in votes, James Bond for me, James Bond for Alex.
James Bond for me.
I think you guys are probably right. Even though I feel bad because Jason Bourne is sort of like Daniel Craig, James Bond's grandfather.
It's true.
That movie has got all the shit it can because of Jason Bourne.
Well, it's a clean sweep for James Bond because 30% of the fan vote said James Bond wins that fight. All right, let's keep it going. Submitted by Salvador Santiago, a DCU assassin fight. We have Idris Elba's Bloodsport versus Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke versus Yahya Abdul-Mateen's Black Manta versus Will Smith's Deadshot. This sounds like pure hell to me.
Let's get one thing I think straight. That version of Deathstroke is nothing, right?
He has technically two scenes, but both of them are technically from the same movie in different editions.
Yeah, like you could infer some of the capability just based on the character that he's based on, that he's playing, but like that is not a character. That version of the character never does anything. So I think, like, at least for me, I can't really consider him at all. Really,
I think again, if we're allowing like one notable weapon per, I think I'd have to go Black Manta. Honestly, it's either between Black Manta or Bloodsport, just because he has that adaptable gun that kind of breaks the rules.
I think of all of these guys, Bloodsport is the only one who's in a good movie. So I kind of lean him, but I don't know, like, if I'm going by the rules of the thing, which, you know, I know is unlike me. I'm not sure if I keep that up. So I'm willing to let you guys make your cases.
There's mental stability things going on here as well. Like Deadshot is, oh my gosh. Bo, stop it.
Bo says just pick Deadshot and move on.
Oh my god. Let's just restart that really quick. Anyway, I think that there are some mental issues to take into consideration here, like my dog going absolutely insane for no reason just because I'm on the phone. But Deadshot doesn't give a fuck about anything, even though arguably I didn't really enjoy those movies and watching them.
Well, he cares about his daughter.
It's all right.
Like, I guess that's motivation for him.
Yeah.
None of these guys are his daughter.
Well, but that's his motivator to maybe win. But I still think Black Manta takes it. That's my vote. He gets his suit, which means he gets his laser eyes. I think that's
he has his
a
whole
big
suit?
positive for him. Yeah, he's Black Manta. He's not just
then
the
he
dude.
wins.
I think I figured it out. My vote is become friends, asterisk, form some kind of suicide
What?
squad.
That's
Okay,
unprecedented.
I'm on Matt's vote there.
I think
That's
Matt's
the
got an
best one.
idea here.
Yeah, that's the best one. Alex, you're on board?
The way I was looking at it, yeah, that's the only real answer. Because otherwise, it's like three quick shots, and then a laser blast, and somebody in Black Manta won.
Yep, and I'm already spinning. Next up, we have Tyler Rake from Extraction, as played by Chris Hemsworth, versus John Wick, submitted by Ed Walton. I haven't seen Extraction, honestly, but I'm going to say John Wick takes this one. That's my vote. Alex, how about you?
It's going to be John Wick. The reason why it's not Tyler Rake from Extraction is that Tyler Rake is dead. Spoiler alert for the first movie. Now, they did recont it. He did come back. There is a sequel that supposedly was released last year. I understand. But either way, John Wick is killing a guy.
Spoiler alert, John Wick is also dead, supposedly.
He's not dead. He's merely renewing his contract.
Fair.
Once Ballerina comes out, we'll find out if he's dead. Because if that movie flops, he is alive and kicking for movie 5 or 6, whatever one we're up to now.
What is
Extraction is a movie starring Chris Hemsworth. There's 2 of them on Netflix. Basically, he is like a former army psyops guy who gets tasked with extracting people from dangerous locations. The first movie is about him being hired to get a young kid out of a situation in I don't remember which country it is. It's most notable that it's filmed by some stunt guys, so there's a few long shots in it. Yeah,
I see. John Wick is the Baba Yaga, which, a point of order, does not mean boogeyman. And he does that thing, I call it the John Wick, where like he's fighting a guy and then he like pins him down with his knee, and then another guy's charging him and he shoots the guy who's charging him, and then he shoots the guy who's got pinned down. That's a cool move, that's all. And I think he's just a cool guy who wears his bulletproof suits, and I think he probably wins. Does he get to wear a suit?
They get to wear their signature look.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's back.
Does he get to bring up one single book from the library because he made books cool again?
John Wick can make anything work for him.
Yeah.
Becky did not read a book for 10 years before John Wick 3 came out. And then she was
I gotta read a book.
I gotta read a book.
I thought she still hadn't read it. She just gone through 600 books practicing her kill moves.
Becky, it's already 3 votes, and the fan vote for this one is 90% John Wick.
Yeah.
The other 10% is they would be friends.
John Wick has no friends. He can't afford them.
He's got plenty of friends.
True.
All right, I'm moving right along because again we've got over 30.
The entire
we're
Continental.
30 minutes in here. Becky, I'll let you read this one off.
Another 4-way match. Leon Kennedy versus Solid Snake versus Archer versus the Punisher. Submitted by Matt McGowan. Yeah, I'm voting for Archer.
I'm going to defer to you guys because the only thing I'm familiar with as far as like in depth is the Punisher from any of these 4. So I will defer to you and enjoy the conversation here.
I understand 3 of these guys. I don't get why Captain Jonathan Archer from the show Star Trek Enterprise is on this list.
Well played.
But also, Cartoon Archer, he's a cartoon man that makes jokes. He's not in this. He's fake.
Solid Snake is a video game man who is ostensibly a cartoon.
Same
with Leon Kennedy.
Just saying, of
And what are
of the
comic books if
characters
not
here-
still cartoons?
Yeah, Matt.
Okay, but these are characters who are ostensibly taken seriously and not sitting around going like, phrasing. Oh, I'm going to do the phrasing. We can't call our organization ISIS anymore.
Danger zone.
I vote for Archer because of the episode where he is locked in a trunk of the limo and he beats down 7 bikers with a shovel and no clothes on. He always wins. He's the only one of all of them, but of all the spies who doesn't have any bionic parts either. No matter what situation he gets in, he survived drowning and space and being injected into some guy. I'm just saying. Archer wins.
What? What a weird fucking
In my
show.
limited knowledge, I'm going to say Solid Snake wins because he can just hide wherever he wants in the warehouse until everyone else is gone.
Archer would be the one person to see through it.
That's probably apt.
Yeah, that's the point of the show.
Okay, here is my
Yeah.
pitch, okay? You're the United
Okay.
States president, and your daughter has been
Right.
kidnapped. And you have an idea of where she is. She's being held in this village in this Latin American
Okay.
country. So what do you do?
Tyler Rake.
Who do you send? Do you send the army? Do you send a platoon of like your best soldiers? Do you send like a bunch of super spies? No, you send one guy, Leon Kennedy, and he gets it done in one day.
My problem with that is that you're the president of the United States and you pick a random cop from a city that got nuked.
No, you don't. You pick a guy who was a cop in a city that got nuked and
know,
then became
I
a
know.
Secret Service agent.
It's all part of the overhaul reboot story.
He gets it done in one day and stops like a global takeover of like a
Whoa. Are we
monster
forgetting
thing.
what's actually happening?
Okay, we need to move this along. We've got more to get through.
Okay,
We
I'm
need-
just saying.
Lock in your
rule-
choices.
The rule is that they're in a warehouse. They're not saving anyone's daughter.
I'm just saying, what I'm saying is that it speaks to his capabilities that you only need to send that one guy and he does the job.
Plus rescues your daughter.
Yeah, he takes on an entire village of guys that are
I
coming
think
at
the
him.
Punisher gets easily dealt with because he just does. Archer is
a piece of shit.
too busy getting drunk and screaming for Lana. He gives away his position. It's between Kennedy and Solid Snake. Kajomi just has way too many plot lines he can write at a moment's instance, and eventually takes out Kennedy.
Right.
All right, Josh,
Yeah, I
what
think you're
was
wrong.
the fan vote?
I'm going Solid Snake.
What's
I
your
didn't do a
vote?
fan vote for
Too
this
many.
one because this one is there are too many people and I couldn't Photoshop enough in time. So Becky, you're the
Well,
time
Josh,
vote.
what-
You're the tiebreaker.
What do you, after hearing our conversation, what do you think?
I think
Make a
I
choice.
got to make a decision because I
Say
want
what's
to
in
move
your
along
heart.
here. I would probably go Solid Snake.
Disappointed but not surprised.
He's voiced by Kiefer Sutherland, who is Jack
he
Bauer.
fucking not. I can't get into this with you right now.
Oh my god.
And he's based off of Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah, Escape from New York. Yeah, another reason for Solid Snake. Let's keep going. Matt, you can read the next one. Get that
Yeah,
frustration
we're all
out.
really mad at Josh right now.
Hugh Jackman's Wolverine versus Taz, the Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes, from Juan Cardenas.
Wolverine wins. I don't even know if they would be friends. I think Wolverine would just be annoyed by him, and Wolverine would just
I
kill
think
him.
he'd probably be, I think it is Wolverine. I think he maybe would be bemused by the fact that he is faced with a cartoon animal man who becomes a tornado. Wolverine takes people under his wing, usually like teen girls, not in a weird way, and like trains them to become like badass heroes. So maybe he would see something in the Tasmanian Devil and he's like, I can hone this potential.
It's they become friends because Wolverine's just gonna walk into this warehouse. Somehow there's gonna be a bar in the middle that he starts pouring himself a drink. He and Taz are gonna bond over their rage and psychosis. And then when Taz starts spinning around, just knocking shit over, Wolvie just grabs a few bottles, moves out of his way, and just waits for him to calm down.
I think it's Wolverine.
Oh damn, we don't have a fan vote. So Matt's always right. So he I guess they become friends. Moving along.
finally it cuts my way.
Next fight we have is the Monsterverse version of Godzilla versus Mew Two, as suggested by Justin Louie. I know nothing about Mew Two in terms of like power levels and how it would combat Godzilla, let alone the Monsterverse Godzilla, who can suplex King Kong. So I will let you nerds discuss this one as well.
Well, let me take myself out of the way, like Josh, because I know the surface level. I know Matt is going to know way more, and so is Alex. But at the end of the day, Godzilla is a super giant dinosaur dick who's mean to everybody for no reason. He has zero conscience. He just does whatever he wants to do. So my vote would be for him.
God, he's a metaphor. He's a metaphor.
He made the Roman Colosseum. The Monsterverse version of Godzilla is not a metaphor for anything. He's a metaphor for your.
He's a metaphor
figures.
for man's hubris in wielding nuclear power.
Which you could argue that Mew Two is as well, with the experimentations that was done upon them.
Mew Two, the ultimate life form, he's psychic, so he could use the Pokemon move Psychic, or he could convince Godzilla, the metaphor for man's hubris, to just chill out or be his friend no matter what his size.
Friends, because as Godzilla is a metaphor and Mewtwo is as well, Mewtwo will use his psychic powers as ultimately he is repeatedly the kind of like big boss of the series and the movies. And they are going to team up together to teach man a goddamn lesson.
Before you lock in on anything, let me just share the fan vote on this one, because I did do a fan vote for this one. 50% Godzilla,
interesting.
43% Mewtwo, 7% they'd be friends.
I think, you know, fans,
we
love you guys.
You guys are.
You guys are great. The best fans out there. I think some of you may be blinded by the fact that one of the guys is like 10 stories tall. Yeah, sometimes size doesn't matter.
The fight in the dog, and in this case, the psychic ability to communicate.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I haven't seen these Monsterverse movies, but is not the premise that these two guys fight?
That is why it's a new empire now.
And become friends.
It's not Godzilla fights Kong. It's Godzilla and Kong, a new empire.
Godzilla really just tolerates Kong, because they even preface very early on in that movie, before they turn Kong into his first variant action figure. They say if Godzilla realizes Kong is up here, he's going to kill him.
Think about it this way. I mean, you guys are all my friends.
I'm with you there, Matt.
And I
sometimes
barely tolerate
the best
you.
friends are the ones you barely tolerate, but you'll know they'll come through at a midnight call if you need help.
Don't call me.
Or if you want to debate
call me.
Fight suggestions. All right, come on, lock in votes.
Friends to the end.
It's friends, I think. It's friends. I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour.
All right, friends takes it. Sorry, fan vote. Alex, let you read this one off. Oh, that's the one I was hoping to get. It's another kaiju
We have
fight.
Reptar from the Rugrats versus Trogdor, Burninating the Countryside by Juan San Lucas.
I did have a fan vote for this one as well. The fan vote goes 37.5% Reptar, 50% Trogdor, 12.5% they'd be friends.
The problem with them being
totally
friends is that they both have kind of a very similar skill set in that they enjoy burning things down. Reptar is, of course, the non-trademarkable knockoff. Why are you spinning already?
I meant to right click, and apparently it didn't like that.
Well,
so
just leave that up there so we can read it. But I'm saying I'm not going to say that they're going to be friends. I'm going to say Trogdor, based off of lore, he is burning the countryside. It's mostly peasantry. I'm saying that Trogdor leads into Reptar. And Reptar, because he's an evolution, a new coming, destroys whatever legacy Trogdor had left and wins.
It's pretty fitting that this comes up for the last one, because Reptar is a parody of Godzilla, who, as I mentioned, is a metaphor for the hubris of man. Can you imagine anything more fucking hubristic than parodying the metaphor for your hubris? And on that note, I think my vote is for Trogdor, whose whole thing is burning. As we know, there's that episode of Rugrats where they see Reptar on ice and he's like singing about being in love with a woman. He's too soft for this fight. He's full of hubris and he's too soft for this fight. And he's for babies. He's done.
And if you've ever played Peasant's Quest, you know that Trogdor is indestructible.
That's
Correct.
true.
He can't be killed.
He has no mercy.
So Trogdor
He has
wins.
no mercy, no compassion.
Becky, did you lock in? Sorry, I forgot. We ended up on this.
I said they're friends.
All right, well, you're outvoted.
I know.
Just like a bunch of men to talk over the
Yep,
one woman.
I'm just letting it happen.
AKA, it's a podcast.
Bunch of white guys talking, and Josh.
Do you want to read off the next fight that we've got since I prematurely spun?
I was reading it in my head, and then it took me 1 second to understand what I was reading. The Shoveler, William H. Macy and Mystery Men versus Steve with a shovel from Minecraft. I'm going to pronounce his last name wrong, so Josh, do you know it?
Richard Kupal.
I was going to say Kupal, so I was close.
Well, now we've got both in case Josh was wrong. So, Richard, enjoy the double shout out.
I'm going to lock in the Shoveler.
What's your argument?
I've never played Minecraft, so I have no idea.
Okay.
Isn't the point of Minecraft to create things, not destroy them?
It could be both because the way that you gain the resources you need to create is to destroy. How do you get wood? You got to punch that tree until it explodes.
I thought you took pills for that.
Well, I mean, I guess you did. You were talking about prematurely clicking earlier.
I'm like, technically they're both like heroes, right? Sorta, kind of. I think they become friends. I think you could always use more shovels.
The Mystery Men is such a misunderstood movie that is so far ahead of its time that it's largely been forgotten, that I feel there is an obligation to throw my support behind the Shoveler, not for any particular reason of understanding or power level that, little Steve's running around just punching and knocking things. But I just feel like the Shoveler because we said this is not to the death, it's just incapacitation. The Shoveler, with his frustration over a franchise that went nowhere, bonks Steve on the head and wins through incapacitation.
I love Mystery Men. The movie's great. Steve, not unlike Trogdor, he's a cipher. He becomes whatever you put into it. He is a receptacle for your hopes, your dreams, your frustrations. And if you are diligent and hardworking and put your nose to the grindstone, you can go to another dimension and kill a giant dragon or create Westeros or the Starship Enterprise. So I think for that reason, because he is, in a way, he is all of us. Minecraft Steve is you, he's me, he's Becky, he's Becky's dog Bo.
That's so true.
He is the everyman, and I think because of that, he would win. And also because sometimes a big green worm that looks like a penis blows up next to you, and sometimes you can survive that.
Okay, so it's 2 votes for the Shoveler, 1 vote for Friends, 1 vote for Steve.
Yep.
All right, Shoveler wins. Let's move along. Sorry, Matt.
I'm right. I'm still right.
Ooh, this is one that I'm very interested to hear Matt's opinion on. We have a dance battle. So again, no Friends. We have the Rise of the Silver Surfer version of Reed Richards as played by Yoan Gruffudd. We have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Zemo. I'm forgetting his actor's name, Matt. You can feel free to interrupt with that at any time. Spider-Man 3's Peter Parker as played by Tobey Maguire, and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. This was submitted by Philip Cartwright. The idea is a dance battle. Who is the better dancer between Reed Richards, Baron Zemo, Peter Parker, and the Joker?
Just a point of order as I Google it. The Zemo from the MCU is played by Daniel Bruhl. Not sure to pronounce
Daniel
that.
Bruhl, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Matt, I'll let you leave this one off because I know you have opinions, especially on Spider-Man 3 Peter Parker.
Well, Spider-Man 3 is good, actually, is my main opinion, and that dance scene is good, and you all just don't understand
I'm with
it.
you there.
The royal you, not you guys on this call. I know you're all very smart. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember that movie, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Reed Richards, he's got moves in that, and it's like he extends his arms because he's Mr. Fantastic, and he's like kind of wiggling them.
Yeah, he's doing the disco wave.
Yeah, that's some hot shit. So I don't know if I have a vote yet, but like it's tough. But like, Peter Parker's got moves too. For me, I think it's between those two. Like, I think Joker, come on. We live in a society. We don't need... Also, I think that song was written by, like, a sex pest. So why'd you put that in the movie? Todd Phillips?
I'm gonna vote Reed Richards. I think him using his natural abilities to their fullest extent in terms of his version of breakdancing is pretty impressive, considering how big of a nerd he is. And Peter's a big nerd, and he can do some jazz dancing, but I think Reed wins on a visual appeal.
He looks good. Peter Parker looks good as hell in that suit, though. He does the little thing with his hips.
He slides that chair across the entire dance floor.
That's also
I
some hot
think
shit.
the confidence level of Peter Parker alone takes the cake.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't even have to be good at dancing as long. I mean, that look on his face the entire time.
That's
the
fair.
winner for me.
See, I think it's going to be Peter because it's the confidence, the suit, the move, the slide that, you know, he's picking up on other people. Zemo is a crowd dancer. You put him alone, it doesn't quite work, but you put him in that crowd, you put him in that mosh pit, and he's got his clap going. Reed was just trying to impress the Invisible Woman, and she went invisible out of embarrassment for that. And the Joker's trying to look for a staircase to dance down. So I think it's got to be Peter.
You guys all vote. Are you guys all locking in with Peter?
I'm locked in at Peter Parker.
I'm going to stick with my guns and say Reed.
Oh, I forgot you said Reed. I'm sorry. I apologize. Oh, man.
And there is no fan vote for this one. So Matt, either we create a tie because you're always right, you create the tiebreaker, or you lock in Peter definitively.
Fans. Oh, man. I'm sorry I doubted you. My man, my boy, my ride or die, Peter Parker. I think I got to give it to you.
Yes.
Reed Richards, you got the moves. You came for the king. You didn't quite hit it, but it's all right.
Next on the fight card, I think this one will be fairly quick. Colonial Marines from the Alien franchise versus the Helldivers from Helldivers and Starship Troopers Marines from Starship Troopers. This is submitted by Dustin Caldwell. I'm going to say, I don't know Helldivers. I'm going to stick with the Colonial Marines.
I will say, for whatever it's worth, the Helldivers are, for all intents and purposes, Starship Troopers.
Oh, yeah.
It is basically Starship Troopers, the game.
Oh, yeah, and it's fantastic.
Helldivers 2, specifically. I've not played the first one.
One's really good, too.
They're all cannon fodder, so it's really just who has the best equipment.
If we're going off of best equipment, I think the Colonial Marines get wiped, versus the Helldivers and Starship Troopers, if they call them that nuke to take out the area.
The Colonial Marines get to call in nukes. They have the pulse rifles, flamethrowers, grenade launchers. They got all the good stuff. I mean, half their arsenal is what inspired the Halo arsenal.
Helldivers and Starship Troopers have maybe the most powerful weapon of all.
Friendship?
Propaganda.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Propaganda.
Hey, no, it's for diplomacy. Don't forget, we're doing this for diplomacy. Okay, I'm going to go with Helldivers. Now, I'm going to Helldivers based off of Helldivers 2, and this is because if you're doing this for democracy and you're doing this forthright, the Colonial Marines, they're mostly doing it for a paycheck. The Starship Troopers, they're just throwing bodies out there hoping they can get to one day vote. But the Helldivers, they're doing this for Super Earth. They're doing this. They will turn on their own friends that are beside them if they so much as sense a slip of the diehard readiness to defend Super Earth. If they believe they've fallen to fascist ways, they will take them out. So I'm going Helldivers because they will not stop. They will not repent. They will not even think of their fellow man. They will just keep coming until that warehouse is theirs.
So we have one Colonial Marine, one Helldiver. Matt, what are you locking in?
I don't know if I'm locking it in yet, but with that, one point in the Helldiver's favor is when the Helldiver dies and your buddy calls in a new one, you get to control where your little pod lands to some degree, to a certain extent. And sometimes that means you can land it right in the head of one of the big bugs you're fighting and kill them. So theoretically, the same would hold true here, where, hey, I'm calling in reinforcements, and whoops, he just happened to land right in the middle of the Colonial Marines, and now they're all paced. Can the Starship Troopers also do that? I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. But it's also a thing where, like, you know, it's like the Helldivers and Starship Troopers are like two flavors of the same totalitarian fascist regime. So it's like, but Starship Troopers came first. So it's like, who wins in a fight between you and your grandpa?
Oh, my grandpa wins.
So I guess I just now talked myself into Helldivers because I could beat my grandpa in a fight if he was still alive. I could do that.
What are you thinking, Becky?
I think I'm gonna have to go with Helldivers. I mean, I know I was thinking the same thing. It's basically the same thing as Starship Troopers, but I don't like that movie. It really freaked me out. It's my only argument for it.
What you got going here, Josh? What are you locking in?
I locked in the Colonial Marines.
Okay, Helldivers wins.
Alex, I'll let you go with this one.
I'm just trying to process this. Sorry. So this is a Heist-Off submitted by Bill Decker. Now, the rule for this is who will complete the heist first. We have the Italian Job 2003 versus Ocean's 11 versus the Fast and Furious Toretto crime family versus Now You See Me versus Baby Driver versus Gone in 60 Seconds. Now, I'm going to leave this one off because it stipulates who completes the heist first. Gone in 60 Seconds is done. He shows up late. We already know that. Baby Driver, I don't think they get it done in time. Now You See Me, we're going to have to wait for them to explain how they did the heist, which is going to take time off the clock. For Fast and Furious, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to get arrested by then. Ocean's 11, they do it with so much class and personality that I think they've already completed the heist before I give them the challenge. And the Italian Job, I don't know if Seth Green can pull it off anymore. So I'm going to Ocean's 11. What about you, Becky?
Did we say that this was submitted by Bill Decker?
Yes, he did.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, I know. I'm like, who completes the heist first? You know what I want to say as I'm reading it? I got to go with Ocean's 11 because you know what? They're all friends.
Well played.
The power of friendship over all else.
I was thinking the Toretto family because I thought they could just like brute force it. But Alex swayed me into Ocean's 11 because he's right. They would just, once they're given the challenge, they'd be like, oh, we already did that last week.
Yeah, it's like they're so nonchalant about everything. They're just like, oh, that, yeah, whatever.
Well, it's three votes in, Matt. So let us know where you go.
I have a clarifying question. I don't know the Fast and Furious movies very well, but by the sixth one or something, don't they work for the government or something?
They kind of did a soft reboot with 5 and turned it into kind of like a heist job, and they now basically kind of work for the highest bidder of governments and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, Ocean's 11, they're friends, but the Torettos are a family.
Yeah, I haven't talked to my sister in 3 years, so.
Wow. Okay. We don't have to open that. We don't have to open those wounds. We don't have to get into that now. But I mean, hey, a Corona could help. I don't know. I'm not your therapist.
Or maybe some of the Rock's tequila.
That's
yeah, sure. What I do know in one of those movies, he flexes so hard he destroys a cast and then says, "Daddy's got to go to work." That's pretty cool. Anyway, I think it's also probably Ocean's 11.
Clean sweep. All right, let's keep going.
Man.
Becky, I'm gonna let you solo this one.
All right. Ed Mundy is asking Stuart Little versus Remy from Ratatouille, if you don't know. Yes, some of us here are apparently adults who don't watch perfect animated films that have no flaws.
So is that your vote?
They would be friends. They're both very sophisticated little rodent creatures.
I agree 100%. They would be friends.
They would totally be friends. Stuart Little does not have a mean bone in his body.
Let's keep going. This one was actually submitted late. I'm very interested to hear about this one. Cecil from Invincible versus Amanda Waller from DC versus Nick Fury from Marvel Comics. This was submitted by Jess Ramirez. This one actually came in 2 days ago. So Jess got one of the last entry in for our raffle here today. This one, I think, has to be they would be friends. This is a classic. They punch for a little bit and then they become friends. They just all eventually learn that, hey, we're all shady, secret government agency leads that can work together and be assholes to everyone else, including ourselves.
I think that you are on the right track, except that I think would be friends with an asterisk because they would not be friends, right? I think they would cooperate in that way, but they don't.
Shaky alliance.
Right. Yeah. More than a friendship. They are useful to each other until the moment that they are not. And then at that point, maybe it's 1 week later. Who knows? Maybe they fight again, but that's not in the purview of this conversation.
So you're saying they would be friends as well?
I'm saying friends, asterisk, but yeah, for
sure, just purposes, like Thunderbolts asterisk. Yep.
Yeah.
They're going to be friends once they realize that they're all in the same room. I'm pretty sure they all know about each other. And there's some words, a little like fainting about stuff. And then it's just like, no, we're going to work together and we're going to take out Talking SMAC, the assholes who put us in this warehouse.
The lore deepens. I will say one more thing. I'm not changing my vote, but one more thing. If in 1 week's time they find themselves fighting again, one of those guys has a history of replacing himself with robots. So sometimes Nick Fury dies, and then it turns out, whoops, that was a robot. He's actually still alive. So in a roundabout way, he might win, but I think my vote is ultimately Friends.
Becky, an uneasy alliance is the winner, but where would you go with this vote?
I would say they would not be friends. You're correct. But they would not pass up the chance to have some sort of alliance that somehow benefits themselves. So I agree with you guys.
All right, let's spin that wheel and see what we got next. All right, from John Chinsky, we have Batman, Bruce Wayne version versus Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. This one, I still haven't seen Rick and Morty, but I'm going to say Batman wins.
But Batman, doesn't he not kill people? Which version of Batman is this?
Well, we're not killing people. We're just knocking out to incapacitation.
Oh, well, I guess that's true.
Batman does that like a pro.
Yeah, that's like the one thing that he's good at, that and brooding. I go with
That's what
Batman.
you got.
Well, Rick Sanchez is the smartest person in his universe because he created that, whatever, the golden spiral or whatever that kept out any Rick Sanchez that is smarter than him before. Yes, I know. Spoilers for season 6 that got broken by not evil Morty. I refuse to refer to him as evil Morty because he's actually just wanted to escape the prison that Rick created for him. Bruce Wayne is the smartest person in any universe because if you're going, depending on the writer, he's incredibly smart. He looks at everybody. He knows everything. He knows every weakness. He's already solved it all. And I think he just knocks Rick out. And even within the lore of Rick and Morty, Rick's gotten knocked out a ton of times.
Here's the thing. We all love Batman, right? Great guy. He's the best.
Great dad.
Can't wait to see the next origin movie for him. One of the unstated premises of Rick and Morty, for better or worse, is that like Rick is the best at everything and he's mostly always right. He's miserable, but he's basically always right. And he's like got robot guns in his arms and he's like got a portal that can take him to any dimension. And like he's always got some, weird plan that he's thought of where like even if Batman sneaks up on him, he accounted for that. And it's actually, I don't know, a Rick Sanchez shaped puddle of goo, and then actually Rick is behind Batman even or something. If I'm playing fair, which again I know is unlike me, I feel like it is probably Rick from the television show Rick and Morty.
All right, well, you are outvoted 3-1,
it.
so you're right, but you lose the vote. Batman should show up at least once more. And Matt, if we get that one, I want you to take that one on a solo one as well. Next fight we have is submitted by Rory Lynch. We have the MCU edition of the Red Guardian as seen in Black Widow versus the MCU edition of US Agent as seen in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick stab at this one, no pun intended, and say the U.S. Agent wins. His unhealthy sense of patriotism and doing the right thing would never allow him to be friends with a Russian, especially the Red Guardian. Becky, where do you land on that one?
I agree, Josh.
All right, Alex, how about you?
U.S. Agent is too much of a. He's got too much of a chip on his shoulder to stop at anything other than immediately killing any supposed fascist from Russia, so he's just going to go after the Red Guardian and just go hardcore.
I don't necessarily agree with the premise that they can't be friends because U.S. Agent John Walker from the MCU is so like jingoistic that he can't be friends with like any other person. At least like in the context of the MCU, when like ostensibly, real geopolitics aside, ostensibly we are no longer like in a Cold War with Russia, so it's not like dirty commie.
That's true. And we are also going to be getting a movie where they have to team up together.
Oh, yeah, Americans love changing their mind. It's their favorite thing, especially about other people who are different than them.
Yeah, but these Russians people think of as white, so reconsider that part.
That's true. Do they have an accent? Because that sometimes plays a part.
Right. Yeah, that's true. All that is to say, if we're talking the comics version, which was in the 80s, maybe, which is not to say that I think that they would be friends. I just don't think that would be the reason why not. But I think, effectively, Red Guardian is like Captain America, right? Where like I know U.S. Agent also was Captain America, but come on, you know. So I think Red Guardian would take it in a straight one-on-one fight.
Okay, I can see it. I just think U.S. Agent is the MCU edition is just a little more visceral as far as we've seen right now. But moving into the next round, we have from Matt Appleyard, we have Black Chrysanthemum, the giant assassin Wookiee bounty hunter from Star Wars, versus Jake Sully in his avatar form. This one was actually submitted as Wookiees versus the Na'vi, but if it was too nuanced or you didn't want to get too deep into it, Black Chrysanthemum versus Jake Sully as the Avatar.
Until you said that,
Na'vi.
I maybe I didn't see the Jake. I really thought that it was the guy from Monsters Inc.
I did too.
That one would have been better, I think.
I don't know that it changes my knee-jerk answer, but I was like, okay, all right.
This is
That's an interesting one.
I think this is an unlikely or an uneasy friendship. Black Chrysanthemum is supposed to be a little bit more unwavering in his duty to kill someone. As we saw in the Book of Boba Fett, he's not completely unwilling to open up to discussions. But overall, I think this is a they would be friends sort of situation.
I am like constitutionally unable, like my body, not the United States Constitution. I am constitutionally unable to give any sort of props whatsoever to the James Cameron Avatar movies or anything about them. And specifically the comics that this evil Chewbacca is from are pretty good.
Yes, they are.
I got to give it to him.
So, Alex, Becky, before you give your offerings, your opinions, I do want to put in, this one was another fan vote. Chrysanthemum had 61.5% of the vote. The other 38.5% was they would be friends. Jake Sully had no votes in terms of winning. The only chance he has of coming out of this in any sort of positive fashion is being friends with.
Here's one point of order, one point of clarification. I've locked in, but just for the rest, are we talking in the first Avatar movie, the only one I've seen? Are we talking like after that movie?
Yeah, once Jake Sully is fully formed as a Na'vi in his Avatar.
So not when he was like, he's sitting in a tube or whatever the fuck they do.
No.
Or whatever it is they do. I mean, yeah, I just don't think that Jake Sully would win. He's kind of useless. Like, even in the second one, they need weapons. And
so do Wookiees.
I did not ever know how to pronounce his name. But isn't his thing like he rips? I mean, he's like super strong. Can't he just like rip people apart? Doesn't he just like rip people's limbs off?
Well, the idea is that the Na'vi are also very strong because of how dense the world is on Pandora is in Avatar.
That is
so
true.
There's supposed to be like a big.
They're 9 feet tall, and the only way they properly take them out is with the battle armor. So yeah, I mean they're really rough.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't think about how tall that.
And high caliber bullets because their skin is very dense as well. But
yeah, that's what they have those giant guns. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with they become friends.
All right, so it's 2. They become friends. Alex, or Matt, you said Black Chrysanthemum.
I'm gonna go with Black Chrysanthemum just because, in my personal feeling, Jake Sully gets killed, and Neytiri then kills Black Chrysanthemum later on.
All right, well, the fan vote agrees with me and Becky, so they would be, or no, I'm sorry, you guys get the vote. Black Chrysanthemum won overwhelmingly. So Becky and I, with our hippy dippy love fest over here, we lose. Let's keep going. We've only got we're down to the final few. Alex, I'm letting you solo this one.
Oh, Jordan Cole provides a 1-for-1 Super Friends match. Brendan Fraser versus Keanu Reeves. Who walks away the most humble? See, this is a tough one because they're both beloved by Hollywood. Apparently, they're amazing people to be on set. Brendan Fraser wanted so much to be in G.I. Joe that for that little cameo that he didn't take pay. He just went over there for a moment. I do think that Brendan Fraser is a very humble, very kind person, especially, you know everything that's going on with his life. However, I think I got to give the nod to Keanu Reeves because while Brendan's life has, been a struggle over the last 15 or so years, and he's coming to be beloved by Hollywood, win the Oscar, taking these roles, being recognized as a dramatic actor. I think Keanu's longer history of humbleness, and I'm going to go with one of the stories from Always Be My Maybe, the Netflix movie with Ali Wong, in which, even though he was probably the most recognized for playing a parody of himself in that movie, that's one of the very big highlights of that movie, that when they went to the premiere, he stepped away from everyone else that was part of that movie, the main stars, so they could get attention versus him. I got to go with Keanu. There's just a longer history of his humbleness versus the last 5 to 10 years of people coming to reappreciate Brendan Fraser.
Okay.
So my vote's Keanu.
Keanu Reeves it is. Let's keep going. Getting close to the nitty gritty here. Matt, this is the one that I wanted you to solo.
All right, this is from Julia B. Peter Parker versus Bruce Wayne. No suits, gadgets, just hand-to-hand combat. This one is not particularly easy, I think, because on the one hand, like in a straight matchup, Peter Parker has like super strength. He can jump around. He doesn't have webs, but he's like physically superior to Bruce Wayne just on a base level, right? But on the other hand, if Bruce Wayne has become basically a machine for fighting crime and solving crimes, and if he's aware of who Peter Parker is going into that, odds are he has some sense of what he can expect and how to take him down, even in a situation where he does not have like all of his tools at his disposal. But I do think that ultimately the only real answer, because they're both good guys in American comic books, is they would become friends. Because they're both my friend.
And Peter Parker is almost detrimentally friendly.
Yeah, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Sorry, Josh, you were saying you agree.
And depending on which version of Bruce Wayne we're getting, depending on who the writer is, Bruce is not adverse to trying to talk things out. So I think being friends is the most likely scenario there. The idea behind, like you said earlier, Peter Parker is an enhanced individual with spider abilities. He can stick to walls. He can lift extraordinarily heavy objects, where Bruce Wayne is the peak of human conditioning. He is basically Captain America. So like hand to hand, if you're just punching a wall, Peter's going to win. But if you're in a will of wits and whatnot as well, it's a different story. The next fight we have is the X-Men villain fight, the Juggernaut versus the Blob, Colin Covington. The one he premised this as like the immovable object versus the irresistible force. Matt, I'm going to defer to you on this one as well, just because I think you have a better understanding of X-Men, but if anyone else wants to chime in, feel free.
Well, nothing can stop the Juggernaut. Although a point of order is that neither are particularly villainous these days, at least last I read. But I think it's probably Juggernaut, just because his whole thing is like he's the unstoppable force, unless you're in an issue of Amazing Spider-Man where you have to bring the entire World Trade Center down on him to stop him. It was the 90s.
I have some totally useless information I can put into this one. Did you know, this is one of the only things I know, I couldn't watch The Blob, I thought it was too scary, that the idea of it is based on an actual police report. So The Blob may be real. We don't know.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
The Blob may be real.
It's
Although,
fascinating.
and a point of order is, in this case, we're mostly talking about the X-Men villain
He
who's
really
just a big
is.
fat guy.
It's true.
Your Blob only makes me think of the Angry Beavers when they have the thumb with the brain or something like
So
that.
true.
This one is tough, but man, I gotta go with Juggernaut.
I'm gonna caveat this one. From Sam Wolf, they submitted Phoenix Wright versus Dwight Schrute. I don't know how or what this is, other than like it's objection versus wrong memes. So I'm gonna make this a will of wits, because they're both also fairly dense. And I'm gonna say Dwight takes this one.
Oh my fucking god! Phoenix Wright is a main character in the Ace Attorney series of video games. If anyone is not aware, which are like sort of anime ass games where you like play a lawyer playing out court investigations and court scenes. Dwight Schrute is the kind of guy who would like show up on a witness stand and be named something like evilly evil or something, where like from the second he shows up, the way he's written, the way he is drawn, that he is the culprit or he's doing something shady. And then the next several hours of gameplay are about you unraveling this man until he has a meltdown in the courtroom where he like turns his computer upside down or like pulls off his wig or like whatever weird defeat animation they gave this character. Phoenix Wright would unmake Dwight Schrute. By the end of this court case, Dwight Schrute would wish he was getting pranked by Jim from the CIA. This will be a little lighter and funnier than
Yeah, well,
you guys
Jesus,
gave
you
me
like
there,
really. I was really thinking. I was like, he has a point. I think Dwight is dense but smarter than expected. I think.
So you're saying Dwight?
I think he would, whatever scheme was happening, I think he'd glob onto it right away and be able to kind of figure it out. I think he would win.
Alex, are you the deciding vote or are you the tying vote?
I think Phoenix Wright wins. I think Dwight, while intelligent and there has a bit of perseverance to him, I think 9 days out of 10 he just gets his ass handed to him.
That's the beauty of it. Even if he has that sly thing Becky's talking about, that's 90% of the guys in those games. And guess what? It's always not guilty for his wrongly accused client.
All right, we're down to the final 7. Let's get.
Oh wait, hold on, crap! They'd be friends because Dwight would hire him to take out Jim. Get back at him.
Phoenix Wright only takes on innocent clients,
except that one time in Phoenix Wright 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was some kind of a blackmail situation, though.
That's fair. Next fight we have is Thanos versus Omni Man, as submitted by Lunga Biela. Trying to keep this concise and quick. I'm going to say Thanos wins. Omni Man, we have seen that he can be vulnerable. He can be busted open. He can be brought to incapacitation. Thanos, it takes a lot. It takes a bunch of Infinity Stones to wipe him out. So I'm going to say Thanos.
Josh. Isn't Omni Man like allergic to the sun or something? Yeah, he's
basically
like a really
Superman.
Dumb weakness, I thought, like hot, like being too hot. Extreme heat, something like that. That's what I remember being like, all right.
No, it's basically he can just be worn out, similar to Superman versus Doomsday. He can eventually just be exhausted. Which, I mean, to be fair, Thanos can be too. And we'll say Thanos does not have the Infinity.
I'm with you. I still think Thanos wins.
I don't particularly care for Omni Man, but I think it's got to be Omni Man just because, like, it took a lot to take down Thanos in those movies, and often does also when he appears in comics. That said, none of those dudes like punch a dude and then they just become an exploded brain. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would not take much from that guy to like make Thanos into nothing if he wanted. You know what I mean?
I think that's fair, but Thanos can take a punch from the Hulk, and I would assume they're relatively close in power scale with Omni Man.
I'm going with Omni Man because Thanos can't fly.
True.
When you have the ability to basically, to fly, do attacks from a distance. Now, if it was a ground hand-to-hand fight, I'm going to give it to Thanos because his blade can, cut through vibranium. But Omni Man can just kind of float and just pick at him as long as it takes for Thanos to be worn
Is
down.
Thanos
that's fair.
DLC in Mortal Kombat? No, he's not.
All right, we do have a fan vote here too, since we did split this one. Oh my god, the fan vote is split as well.
Oh,
It's 37.5%
Nice.
Omni Man,
Wow.
37.5% Thanos, 25%
Thanos doesn't
they'd
have
be
friends.
friends. So Matt's the tiebreaker.
he
Well-
never would.
Maybe they
No.
would be friends in the same logic that we used for that previous one. You know, like maybe they would find some commonality.
I think it depends largely on which version of Omni Man or where in Omni Man's journey, because he does get to a point where he's like, I'm gonna help people. So if he's hit that point, I don't think he's teaming up with Thanos. But if it's I want to help people, I think maybe he and Thanos can work on an uneasy alliance.
Yeah, you know what? The fan vote was split, but it convinced me. I think they would be friends. Asterisk.
Well, then that changes the vote, and it makes the result Becky and me and
Yes.
Becky are the right ones, and
Fuck!
Thanos wins.
Matt, we had it in our hands, man. What did you
I'm
do?
just too logical.
This one I think is going to be really quick. We have Pennywise versus the Joker is submitted by Kristen Pike. I think Joker wins just because Pennywise, his power set is based entirely upon someone being afraid of him, and the Joker is going to just be like, you're stupid.
Isn't Pennywise like some sort of like fundamental like eldritch horror? I guess
Yes.
I don't know, drive you insane or
Yeah, but
eat
what if
you
you're
or
already
something.
insane?
He's basically an eldritch horror from the beginning of time that is like putting himself through a portal, and the kids eventually see him as the most terrifying things that is to them, which
So
is
he
basically a
can't be
giant spider.
beaten. He can't be defeated. He will always exist.
Yeah, through the
A
power
group of
love
little kids beat
and
him.
friendship.
Did they destroy him, or did they just drive him back?
That sounds like incapacitation to me there, Matt.
You
I'm going Pennywise.
You cannot defeat the eldritch horrors of the universe.
I'm going Pennywise because of his abilities. He will perceive himself. He will cause Joker to perceive him as whatever Joker most desires, and then Pennywise will handle it.
If
from
it
there.
helps, the fan vote goes 12.5% Pennywise, 50% the Joker, and
Yeah, I go
37.5%
Joker.
they'd be
Also,
friends.
neither of them would be friends. They got other
No, there's
stuff
no
going
way
on.
they're
They don't need
friends.
friends.
Pennywise would make Joker see the worst, the scariest thing in the
He
world
does
to
that
him.
to himself.
Sanity.
A 9 to 5 in a nice tweed suit.
To me, that is insane.
Okay, so what's your vote, Matt?
Pennywise.
All right, well, the fan vote splits it, so the Joker wins because it's with the fan vote, it brings the Joker to me and Becky's side. So we go again. This one is ridiculous, and hopefully it'll be quick. I'll take it again just because it's a ridiculous one. Did I forget to put the person's name in here? I sure did. From Rory Lynch, we have 3 Vin Diesels versus the four Jungle Rocks. Oh, there it is, Rory Lynch right there. We have Riddick, Dom Toretto, and Triple X Vin Diesel versus Rampage, Jumanji, The Rundown, and Journey to the Mysterious Island Rocks. I'm guessing this is bred from the on-set rivalry between Vin Diesel and The Rock from the Fast and the Furious movies. They're definitely not going to be friends, but I don't know who's going to win. This is a coin flip. Maybe because of Riddick, the Vin Diesels win.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think one of those Riddick movies, he like gets like an army of the dead or some shit. Chronicles of Riddick.
Riddick.
I think it's probably Vin Diesel because of Riddick. And Riddick's cool. I like Riddick more than any of the other guys.
I'm going with Riddick because Vin Diesel can complete a trilogy. The
Right.
Rock can't. That's
I
the
mean, Vin
only
Diesel
reason.
has kept Riddick alive just on sheer willpower. Nobody, those movies are okay.
They're filming Fury.
Yeah,
later
nobody
this
seems
year.
to want more Riddick, but he's like, Riddick's my boy.
Oh, I'm all for more Riddick,
I
man.
think audiences nationwide don't seem to want more Riddick, but he keeps making them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing. It's like,
Okay,
oh, yeah.
I
Becky,
forgot
who you got
Vin
in this fight?
Diesel existed as a person until I read his name on this, so I'm going to go with The Rock.
Fair enough. All right, we're down to the final four.
So who wins? Josh, who
Oh,
won?
the Vin Diesel one. It was 3-1.
Oh, okay. The Predator versus Ewok Village by Drew Roberts. Oh my god. I'm going with the
Predator wins easily.
just because I want to see the Ewoks added to the trophy case. It is just so absurd. You have like the alien mask there. You have like you have like the alien head there. You have some other masks, and then you have like the stuffed Ewok on the wall.
I think that's when you get taxidermied.
Oh yeah, you you make a little like a shadow box of a few of them just like battling it out.
You know what though?
There is a
Ewoks-
fan vote with this one as well. Sorry, Matt.
Ewoks are pretty ruthless as well. People make jokes about stormtroopers and whatever else, all the memes, but they're a highly deadly and dangerous military. And at the end of that movie, those motherfuckers' heads are on pikes, being played as drums.
Let us not forget, Lucasfilm has yet to patch in, and one day they will, why the Ewoks have clothes that are the perfect size for Princess Leia. It's because they killed and ate somebody.
Yeah,
and kept
it's
the
coming to Disney
trophies.
Plus next year.
Wouldn't shock me.
There is a fan vote. Becky, I'll let you give your considerations before I get into the fan vote.
Hold on. It could be a real Predator 2 situation because they become friends in that movie, right?
No,
I'm pretty
he
sure
kills
Danny
the
Glover
Predator.
kills the one Predator.
He kills
the one Predator,
yes,
and then they
does.
give him
At
the
the
gun out of respect.
Oh wait, you're
That's
right.
close
I was
enough.
like, no,
That's
who
close
gets the
enough.
gun? Oh right, yeah, no, he kills him. I forgot about that.
I didn't watch that shitty movie. What are you talking about?
How dare you?
That's a great movie.
But that's close enough for me. I think that the Predators would give the Ewoks a big ass gun out of respect for killing their dipshit who showed up to hunt them.
So it's 2-2.
Yes.
Friends versus Predator. The fan vote says the Predators, so Predator takes it.
Typical.
Yes, the Predator wins.
48.4% say the Predator, 22.6% say Ewoks, and 29%
People
say
said
they would be
friends.
friends. That one was, I think that was our highest voted
Amazing.
poll as well. So that one, people had opinions.
Fans, we love you. You're great. You're all Philistines.
And now you know why the Predator was going after the Ewoks, because they're ruthless cannibals.
Alex, I'm going to let you kick this one off.
Mike Myers, The Cat in the Hat versus Jim Carrey's Grinch, submitted by Drew Robertson. This one is a nut punch to my childhood because the Grinch was so good, and then The Cat in the Hat came out. I have to think about this one. What do you think, Becky?
I think The Cat in the Hat. He's slightly more unhinged than the Grinch, and he has nothing. I mean, he's literally just here to cause some chaos and wreak havoc. The Grinch is here to learn life lessons and how to love.
It
What
doesn't
do you
matter.
got, Matt?
We lose.
What do you
We
got,
lose
Josh?
no matter what.
If they were to become friends, would they become friends to wreak havoc on other people? Or would they become like legitimate friends? Or would this be more of an alliance situation?
I don't think they can be friends. Jim Carrey's the Grinch, doesn't care about anybody himself. He only really cares about his dog. And that's kind of a...
Did you not finish the movie?
I did
You
finish the
literally
movie.
became friends with so many
And
people.
that's more of a brief alliance. I mean, after all, his last line is like, "Who wants the gizzard? I do." No, too bad, it's mine. There's still that selfish streak within him. I don't think he would be friends with the Cat in the Hat. I think he would see the Cat in the Hat as a rival to his means and to his needs.
I think in terms of characterizing these fighters, the Grinch is lonely. He's cranky and crotchety because he is lonely, which is a weakness, where the Cat in the Hat is a force of nature, and he is ready and willing to kill
I'm with
someone
Josh.
and their
Talk
mother.
about Eldritch Horror.
Cat
That's
in the
Cat in
Hat
the Hat for
wins.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Cat in the Hat would win.
I'm just sad that both of these movies exist.
So this one was another fan vote. The totals, this is, I think, our second most voted on one. 30.8% The Grinch, 30.8% The Cat in the Hat, 38.5% They Would Be Friends.
We heartily disagree with that.
No. That the Cat in the Hat is going to kill the Grinch, much like it did Mike Myers' career.
Maybe they're right. Who knows? I mean, what does anything matter anymore?
Spin that wheel, Josh. We're down to the final two.
I'll be more dramatic, Wheel.
Deadpool versus Freakazoid by Juan San Lucas. What are you thinking, Matt?
Deadpool has swords, and he like kills people all the time. And I'm pretty sure Freakazoid is like also a child, right? Like he's like Shazam, or I'm sorry, Captain Marvel. I refuse to call him Shazam, except just now.
He's more of a teen.
He like says a word and he becomes Freakazoid, like Captain Marvel does.
I think he's like freak out or something. Yeah, is his catchphrase.
I prefer Freakazoid. Deadpool's an assassin and a mercenary, and he's got a sword, he's got guns, and he could chop him up into little bits, and he like regrows himself. And I think,
but again, he's incapacitated until
Very
he
true.
regrows. So
yeah, but I mean that's also true if Freakazoid gets his head cut off.
I don't know that Freakazoid can ever be annoyed by anyone, but I think he would be really intrigued by Deadpool, and Deadpool would just be like, "Leave me the fuck alone." And then he would
Can I be honest
become
with
a
you?
reluctant
I
friend.
know that I'm the one that is responsible for this option, but I keep forgetting that them being friends is an option. This entire episode. So I think that you're probably right because, and I think to only slightly counter your point, I think Deadpool is often in the scenario that you're describing for Freakazoid, where like he wants to be best buddies with like Spider-Man or whoever, and they're like, what is your deal, man? You're a weirdo. So I think maybe in that regard, they are sort of kindred spirits.
Yeah, I'm going to go with they're going to be friends because comic Deadpool there's a significant difference in personality tone. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is doing a great job, but there's a personality tone where he is very whimsical and annoying and is more of a manic fae-like creature that just wants to harass people, much like Freakazoid. And I think the two of them end up teaming up and just wreaking havoc on the sanity of anyone within about a 5-mile radius.
I'm part of the friends group here because, yeah, that's just the nature of Deadpool, especially. I think we'd get a really cool epic fight, but it would end in friendship no matter what.
And the fans do not agree. So this is a 4-1. It's 0% Freakazoid, 60% Deadpool, 40% They'd Be Friends. And I was wrong earlier. This is our second most voted on subject. Take that as you will, as also, because there are still quite a few votes on that one. So let's get into our last one. We have Ladybug and Cat Noir versus Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask, as submitted by Juan San Lucas. And this one I was nervous about because it seems like either people are very passionate about their preferred fan base or they don't understand these characters, because this is the definition of They Would Be Friends. And the vote was Ladybug and Cat Noir 33.3%, Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask 25%, and then 41.7% They Would Be Friends. But that They Would Be Friends had a late rush. The first 2 days this poll was open, it was bouncing back and forth between the two characters and not considering They Would Be Friends.
I don't really know Ladybug and whatever. Can I ask, is Cat Noir like also someone who shows up and like does nothing?
No, Cat Noir is a capable friend and ally. He's basically Ladybug's version of the Sailor Scouts. Like he's all of them in one, and also Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah, I guess I will generally lean, as I often do, except in this specific episode for some reason, that they'd be friends. But it is worth noting that like one of them includes, one of those teams includes the God Queen of the Universe, and the other is like a cartoon ladybug or cat or something.
And French.
She's a
But I think they would be friends.
You are 100% right. They would absolutely be friends. Even if it was the same thing, it might start off as a misunderstanding, but they would totally be friends.
Can I ask another question? Does one of those dudes have like a rainbow crystal in their soul? Or like a magic mirror? Or another fucking MacGuffin from that show?
No, but there are and can be other superheroes like Ladybug and Cat Noir. There are little, they call them genies. I don't know what the translation actually would be, but they're called kwamis that endow their quote unquote owner / partner with the ability to take on whatever ability.
That does sound like something that Sailor Moon would throw her magic tiara at, to be fair.
A little tiny creature. No, see, they're really, really cute. So I think it would be like, oh, look at this cute little thing. What could this possibly be? And then that's when they would be friends, because they would be like, oh, here's my cool power and shit. You guys also have cool powers and shit. And then Tuxedo Max, who knows? He's standing off in the corner doing whatever, not even contributing to the conversation. He's the woman of that room, being totally useless.
The minute Usagi finds out that Marinette's dad is a baker and that she can get what are those macaroons at any given time, Usagi that would be her new best friend.
That episode would end with them hanging out in the bakery, and she would have her cheeks full of baked goods.
Yeah, she, like Usagi would say, she'd never eaten a croissant or something before, and she's just
I think
like,
I'm
oh
still
my
good
God.
friends.
See, I really wanted to go with they'd be friends, but then I remembered that Junebug and Cat Noir are French, and the only thing I like about the French are the departure terminals of their airports, so I can get out of France. So I'm going to go with Sailor Moon.
Okay, well, you're outvoted by both the fan vote and us, Alex, so have fun with that. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted. There is one other fight that we are not really going to debate because it actually is a pseudo repeat, but I wanted to give credit to Edward McCann, who submitted a blind fight between Hibernation Sickness Han Solo versus Matt Murdock / Daredevil versus Toph Beifong from Avatar: The Last Airbender. We previously did Matt Murdock versus Toph, and we had a great conversation about it. It's in our very first Talking SMACdowns episode, and we came to the conclusion that Toph would win only because Matt Murdock is a devout Catholic, and he would have very hard time fighting a child as well as someone who is suffering from hibernation sickness, even though he's trying to shoot him with a blaster. But I think Toph is ruthless enough that she would just take that fight no problem. So with that, we are raffling off our Steam edition copy of Marvel Midnight Suns. Becky, I will let you read off the name of the winner as it comes to a stop
have a pronounceable
here.
name, or I'm making it up. Oh,
seems like it's a pretty easy name.
It's Rory Lynch. You're a winner. It was actually literally the one that Josh skipped over and thought wasn't even worth his time to read. I do believe this was our Vin Diesel versus the Four Rocks, correct?
Yeah, my short-term memory is shot. So very good, Rebecca. You remember.
I couldn't remember Vin Diesel, but I could remember that question.
So Rory, you win. We will get in touch with you after this episode drops. Probably I'll reach out to you Thursday morning Central Standard Time, or I'm sorry, Central Daylight Time, and we will get you that Steam edition copy later this week after editing and launching the episode. But thanks again, everyone, for submitting, and congratulations to Rory. And we are going to get out of here. Episode 150 is in the books. Rebecca, Matt, Alex, thank you so much for all the time you guys put into this. And thank you so much to everyone who listens and supports the podcast. Feel free to say kind words if you feel
Josh,
so.
and also, I guess everybody else on the podcast, but not really, mostly Josh.
Matt and Alex turn on their cameras to flip off Rebecca, or maybe me. I don't know.
Just everybody.
Rebecca.
But yeah, it's always fun hanging out here. Here's to 150 more.
Listen,
some of that might even be good.
Haven't we done an Archer podcast, Josh? I just want to explain Archer to you and have you listen to me. We'll call it Yapster.
I have so many people wanting to explain so many different things to me. I just Matt wants to explain Star Trek to me, and Slade wants to let me know all about the different
Josh
animes.
Learns.
There's too many things
And
happening.
we get to talk to you for an hour about whatever topic we desire.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
I know.
For
I'm
like a
pretty
basic. Somebody comes in with like an expertise and that Josh knows nothing about, and they spend an hour answering questions for him. Learning SMAC.
Okay, with that, Alex, who's remixing our theme song this week?
John Carpenter. The man has mostly retired from directing, but he still puts out a banger of an album. And he's remixing ours.
John Carpenter, there we go. Please don't forget to join our Discord. The link is in our episode description. As always, with most of these people that got in touch with us, you can email us at tsmackpod@gmail.com. And you can follow us on social media at tsmackpod on your social media platform of choice. We are on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, Hive Social. Post News is actually dead. I can update my file here. Delete. So we are no longer on Post News because Post News no longer exists. We are on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Lonnie's website. Thank you to Leo Allen for our musical themes. Thank you to Beppo for our original avatars. Retro Ale Studios for our Ricky avatar. Please like, subscribe, rate, review on your podcatcher of choice. And most importantly, thank you so much to everyone for listening. Take care, and we will see you next week when we have Justin Henson on for a very special discussion episode about what the fuck is happening at the box office. Thank you for listening to 150 episodes of this, and we will see you next week.
And most importantly, fuck off, Becky.
I hurt. If I had one, it would hurt, but I don't. It got lost in Josh's hair.
Watch Star Trek or whatever. I don't give a shit. Who cares?
I'm sorry about this violence. I've allowed a quart of lutefisk, so we have good feelings, yeah?
These are not good optics for us, I just want to say.
What? You look great. Josh looks the best.
That's not what I meant.
As soon as you said optics, I was like, make this about vanity. You know what, Josh? You look like you could be cast as Murtaugh in the TV series of Aragon. No.
The music's still going.
I think that's what gets me every time. I'm like in my car like...
It's a post-credit stinger. It's a post-credit stinger where I say watch Star Trek after the music.
You talked over it.
Chef's kiss?
It's not my fault you put a bunch of weird shit
Yeah, what
in the
was
music.
that?
That's what I do every time. What are we talking about here?
Join Josh and Alex as a nerdy podcast crowd.